Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look at some of the racing tomorrow and highlight who I like for the different races. And we're going to start off looking at the 225 at Newbury. We're going to go course by course. We'll start off with the 225 at Newbury. And the horse who I like here, we've had before. It's Harry Brown, this one down here. So not particularly well drawn, but I think Haley should be able to just move in behind some of the other runners quite comfortably. So I'm not too worried about the draw. What I would say about this race is it's a definite drop in class. So the last time that Harry Brown ran in a similar level was actually 3 runs ago when he finished third behind Pure Angel and Ferris. Now both of those have done all right since. Ferris didn't run badly um, at Windsor in a better race, and then was ninth in a feature handicap. Now, so Ferris was going up in grade. Pure Angel similarly finished second, then went to another heritage handicap, finished seventh, and then last time out was fourth at Doncaster behind the big board. Now, both of those are kind of gone up in grade, which is what Harry Brown did. He went up to the Palace of Holyrood stakes at Royal Ascot, finished ninth, ran okay, was really well supported that day. And then last time out, he was similarly in a decent race at Ascot when beaten by the big board, Rarsell, Existent, Kings Lynn, Rohan. You know, horses that could be top level handicappers, could run in listed races, sort of thing. Whereas I think tomorrow Harry Brown is dropping in class. It's a definite drop in class here for me into this class 3. And I just wonder whether that might be enough to see him get back towards his best, which I think would give him a great chance. So we've got a few improvers in the race, the likes of Wolverhampton and Four a Day, but I just think Harry Brown has already shown a better level of form. And although, excuse me, although he's only rated 87, he's been rated 87 since finishing third behind Ferris. Now that run looked like there was plenty more to come. He's then running 2 better races. He's back down in class, and I think that's key to him here. I think that could be enough to help him get back to running his best. And I would be disappointed if he doesn't finish in the first 3. And I think he can certainly challenge for the win here. And with that in mind, his current price at 7, so I think that's very fair. The R figures are kind of suggesting that his last time out he actually ran his best effort in recent times, so I'm hopeful of a good run. Haley's not bad at the course. David Simcock's not bad at the course, so there's a couple of positives there. Harry Angel, not amazing, pretty good at places, so they just haven't quite clicked in with getting the wins as well. So I'm quite happy with the run, the effort, the stats here. Sorry, I'm quite happy with the stats here for Harry Brown, and I think he can improve again to go really close here at 7-1. The next race I want to look at is again at Newbury. It's the 3 o'clock, and there's a few in here that I've highlighted before, and there's a few that I'm going to go against them, and hope we get the right one here. So the dangers that I'm worried about. Classic for sure. He is going the right way. Finally got a win on it under his belt, and could be very well handicapped still. The other one that I'm going to take on is Bless Him, who ran okay for us at Newmarket in the Bunbury Cup. Didn't run as well at Ascot in the Moët and Chandon, but I think coming here to Newbury, I could definitely see him running well. He ran well in the Spring Cup earlier this year when rated 105. So he is definitely a danger. I'm going to go for another horse that has form in a Spring Cup, and it was actually the Spring Cup of 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, the Spring Cup was won by Modern News, who's just been retired. Second was Migration. Third was Rogue Bear, and fourth was Isla Kai. Now Isla Kai was running that day in the Spring Cup off a mark of, I think it was 100. I'm just double checking. 99. So he ran off a mark of 99. He finished fourth in a Spring Cup. Tomorrow, in this race, over the trip that I actually think suits him better, the 7 furlong over a mile, he runs off a mark of 89. So he's £10 lower than when finishing 4th over course and distance. Sorry, at the course over a distance that I think was too far for him. At the 7th hole, he was probably in the lead. So he's got some Newbury form. He looks well handicapped, and Alex Jarry's actually taking a further £7 off. He is unbelievably well handicapped. His last time out effort was a good effort. He was beaten by Ross Collin and Wob Wob Wob, and for a long way he was bang there with Ross Collin and Wob Wob Wob. So Ross Collin was another that was really well handicapped that day, and with that in mind, I'm surprised that he went off 5-1 for a race at Goodwood, and he's priced up here at 14s at a course where he's run well over the right distance. He looks incredibly well handicapped. I think 14s is a great price about him. I don't actually think he wants the soft ground that he got last time. Good to soft in places. I think is perfect. Off 89 with a 7 claimer, so effectively running off 82. I think that's a crazy price. He was 4th off 99 in a better race on his last run at this course. He's running off an effective 82. 14s is a great price for Isla Kai. Classic might be improving. Bless him, might be well handicapped. But Isla Kai, I think, is very, very well handicapped. I think he's better handicapped than Bless him, and better handicapped than Classic. So he's my selection in this race. At 14s, it's Isla Kai in the 3 o'clock at Newbury. Moving on to the 205 at Newmarket, a 6 furlong handicap, a grey horse handicap, and the fact that it's a grey horse handicap doesn't interest me whatsoever. But I'm looking for a horse that I think could win the race, and I just wonder whether this drop in class will suit Silver Samurai. So Silver Samurai with Andrea Rezzani on board, they are running here off 87, and he's obviously got to carry top weight, but he's against lesser rivals, and I think that's key for him. So last time out he ran in a class 3, the time before that it was a class 2, before that it was a class 3, before that it was a class 2. So the fact he's dropping down to a class 4, this is his first time in a class 4 for a little while, and I just think that might be enough to spark him back into a bit of form and allow him to keep up early and run on strongly. I mean, he's got some decent form in the bag, particularly at the likes of York, and I thought that was where he was going to go. I thought we would see him in something like the Constantine handicap that he ran in last year at this time. It was next week. He finished 3rd that day behind Summergand and Comanche Falls. Obviously that looks really good form. So the time of year is right for him as well, for Silver Samurai. And I think they felt that there's no point going to York with him because maybe he's not running to his best. But if there's a place that they could get him to run, bounce back to form, it's in a lower class race, and I think that could be key here. So he's dropping down in class for this grey horse handicap, and it's good prize money for a class 4 because it's a feature handicap, a grey horse handicap. As long as he gets tucked in, so again, drawn in 11, I think that will mean he's able to tuck in behind and start passing rivals late on. If Andrea can get a good tune out of him, I think he can go really close here, to be honest. He didn't run badly at Kempton under Andrea back in April, and hopefully he can give him another good ride and come through strongly towards the end. And he is available at, let's just refresh this page, you can get him comfortably at 9-1. I think he can run a really big race here in the grey horse handicap. We keep going. We move on to the 345 at Newmarket, and it's a 1 mile 6 handicap, and there are no odds for this one yet, so I'm going to leave that one for the moment. I'm also going to leave the 210 at Ripon. If you follow my videos, you know who I'll be talking about in here. Let's talk about the last one that we've got 2 more that we do currently have odds for, and we'll talk about the feature race at Ripon. The feature race at Ripon is the Great St Wilfred, and I'm going to do this horse because he is well handicapped and can certainly run a really big race. And do you know what? I'm actually going to do 2 in this race because I think they're both well handicapped. So the first one is Summergand. So Summergand is down to 97. This is his time of year. So he was actually winning a race last year, the Skybet Constantine Handicap, at this time of year. I don't think he's got the entry. He doesn't have the entry this year. So they're going for the Great St Wilfred instead. And he has actually ran here before. He finished 4th in 2022. So last year he was running off 98 that day. He finished 4th. He did best over his side. If he wins his side this year, I think he'll win the race. I think his effort last time out at York has obviously been well franked, with Aberama Gold, Manila Scouse both doing well since. And he ran really well Summergand, and he is the right favourite in this race for sure. He's currently available at 11-2, which I think is fair. We've backed him, once this year? I think we backed him once. I'm going to be backing him here. I'm going to be backing him in the Air Gold Cup as well. And I'm hopeful for a really big run for Summergand. If there is a horse that I think could be nicely handicapped against him, that I think could bounce back, it's Live in the Moment. Now, I highlighted him in a previous video about Goodwood. I thought he ran well at Goodwood, running on his own side, and so he kind of won his own race. And yet the handicapper dropped him from 86. I think he dropped him to 85. He did. He dropped him to 85. Mia Nichols jumps on, so claims 7, which is the same as what Sharrock did last time. So there's no extra pull there. But they're putting a visor on as well. Drawn in 13, so relatively near the middle, which I think will suit. And I think that just means he should be in the right group. And he's, as I said, they've got the visor on. If that can get him a bit more, he could certainly run a really big race here. And I understand why they're going here. It's good prize money. It's worth, what's it worth to the winner? It's worth 51 grand to the winner. So it's certainly a race worth targeting. 51,540. 51,000, sorry. £540. So yeah, I think both of those can run really big races in the Great St Wilfred. And they are currently priced, as I said, at 11-2. And Live in the Moment is available at 16s. Considering he won his own race last time out, the horse who won the other group is 6s, whereas Live in the Moment won his group and is 16s. If they'd been on the same side, could Live in the Moment have beaten Monsieur Cody? Very possibly. And yet the support is all for Monsieur Cody, and you can get a big price about Live in the Moment. So they are my 2 in this race, the Great St Wilfred. And I'm going to do 2 more, or 1 more for this video. The last one in this video is Curra. Again, if you follow my videos, you'll know who I'll be picking in this. We're going to get a win out of Pearls and Rubies. So she was beaten last time out by Cairo when dropped to 6. I think if it had been run over 7, Pearls and Rubies would have won. Pearls and Rubies also got beat at Royal Ascot in the Chesham when being beaten by Snellen, who actually reopposes. The reason I think Pearls and Rubies can beat Snellen is they were drawn apart that day, and I think Pearls and Rubies just thought she'd won the race. Obviously, this race was won last year by Meditate, who was one of Aidan O'Brien's really smart 2-year-olds. So I think he knows what it takes to win this race, and Pearls and Rubies has done nothing wrong, really. The 7 furlong trip is ideal, and I do think she will be able to beat Snellen this time. They're not really drawn next to each other, but I think they'll end up right next to each other. I think it will be between them 2, but I think Pearls and Rubies can come out on top this time. Almost now that they know 7 is Pearls and Rubies trip. So they are my selections for this first part of the video. Let's just give them a quick recap. Harry Brown dropping in class. I think he can go well over 7. We liked him at Ascot, Royal Ascot. This is an easier race, and I think he will run well. In the 3 o'clock, I think Isla Kai is very well handicapped. Did nothing wrong last time out when beaten by Ross Collin and Wob Wob Wob. Has some form at this track in the Spring Cup, and looks very well handicapped off an effective mark of 82, with Alex Jarry taking 7 off the 89 mark. In the Grey Horse handicap, another one dropping in class that I think can bounce back is Silver Samurai. Runs his best races at this time of year, and takes on lesser opposition, so hopefully can keep up early on. In the Great St Wilfred, I think there's two that I like here. Summergand, fourth in this race last year off a pound higher mark, just needs to be on the right side, and I think he'll go close. And also Live in the Moment, who won his side last time out. If he can win his side again this time, he will go close. And yet he's a much bigger price than Monsieur Cody, who kind of reopposes. And finally, in the Group 2 Fillies Stakes, I think Pearls and Rubies can get a win back to winning ways after 2 good seconds behind Snellen, who she does reoppose. But I think that they'll know that the 7 furlong trip is what Pearls and Rubies wants this time, and ride her to almost go past Snellen late on rather than the other way round, as happened at Royal Ascot.